News and rumors Leafs. Surprisingly, our journalists have gained access to this valuable information. However, before we go into the details of the news, I make a special request: subscribe to the channel so that we can soon surpass in number of subscribers the Canadians. With your support, we will become the leading news channel. The Toronto Maple Leafs selected Topi Nema in the third round, 64th overall, during the 2020 NHL entry draft. Despite an impressive preseason showing at the Toronto Maple Leafs training camp, Topi Nema has been assigned to the Toronto Marlies. This move should not be surprising, as Nema has only played 6 games in the AHL and is a youthful 21 years old. Nevertheless, he remains one of the Leafs' premier prospects. The future of Topi Nema with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Topi Nema was not expected to make the opening night roster for the Leafs, but the Finnish defenseman appears closer to reaching the NHL than initially anticipated, offering optimism about his potential. In the 2022-23 season, Nema had a reasonably solid, albeit unbalanced, performance with 8 goals and 18 points in 58 games for Kärpät in Finland, followed by 2 points in 6 games with the Marlies. On the offensive front, it may seem like a step back, but without access to advanced stats and the ability to watch most of his games, it's challenging to make a definitive assessment. However, his promising 5 points in 7 playoff games provide hope for Leafs fans that there is still considerable potential in the 21-year-old. While Nema may not receive as much hype as fellow Leafs prospects Matthew Knies or Fraser Minten, he demonstrates a high level of maturity and composure in his game, with a clear path to becoming an NHL player. I maintain the belief that Nema is a top prospect for Toronto, and there is evident top 4 potential. As an already strong offensive defenseman, seeing Nema exhibit more defensive composure is a significant step toward ensuring he can eventually make an impact in an NHL lineup. Of course, there are areas of Niemela's game that need refinement. A notable early game turnover against the Senators likely didn't showcase his abilities in the best light, and the fact that it happened just over a minute into the game may have left a lasting impression on casual observers. Beyond that particular play, Nema displayed tremendous effort in that game, actively engaging in battles for possession and creating opportunities in the Senators' offensive zone. Another impressive aspect of Niemela's game is his ability to adapt and make mental adjustments during the game. He appeared to process the play more thoroughly as the game progressed, particularly in the second and third periods. These small but essential mental adjustments will serve Nema well and increase his chances of not languishing in the minors indefinitely. Could Niemela's return to the AHL be a blessing in disguise? Nema may benefit from joining a well-stocked Marlies roster that should be in playoff contention this season. Showcasing his skills in a full-time AHL role might prove more beneficial than exposing him to the NHL at this stage, even though his preseason performance made a compelling case for full-time NHL status. One crucial point to remember is the persistent push several years ago for former top defensive prospects Timothy Liljegren and Rasmus Sandin to make the Leafs roster. Eventually, both received their opportunities, with Liljegren finally establishing himself in the Leafs lineup, while Sandin had respectable performances in Toronto before being part of a trade deal. Becoming a top 4 defenseman is one of the most challenging feats in the NHL. A defensively oriented third-line prospect can fill in for an injured bottom-pair defender, but forcing a defenseman with top-line potential into the lineup is not always straightforward. Liljegren was nurtured for as long as possible, not just to become an NHL defenseman but a top 4 defenseman, which highlights the difficulty of breaking into the league. Even after 2 years of excelling in a third-pairing role, Sheldon Keefe still hesitated to dress Liljegren in playoff games. This underscores the formidable obstacles young defensemen face when trying to establish themselves in the NHL. Fans, what is your perception of this news? Are you aligned with it or do you have a different view? Share your opinion in the comments section. This plays a crucial role in helping our beloved team understand your feelings. Stay tuned, as I will be back soon with more updates.